Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. It doesn't cost you anything, but means a lot to us. We have a lot of content today, so let me be quick and start getting straight away into. First of all, I don't know if you've seen the result of Atalanta-Roma. Atalanta won the game, so Atalanta sealed the third place at the Champions League. It's a great achievement for this team that's done amazingly well in the last few years. But with Atalanta win, we have the fight for the fourth position is still open. So Lazio, Juve, and Roma are still fighting for the last spot for Champions League. There are 2 games left, and the teams has different challenges. Let me break it down quite easily. And next game for Juventus is Udinese in Turin. Udinese doesn't have anything to ask to this championship. It's safe, can't reach UEFA, can't reach any position for playing Europe, so nothing to do. So in theory, it's an easy game. That said, if you look at what happened yesterday with Napoli and Genova had nothing to ask to this championship, and they drew 2-2. It's not an easy game, and Juventus has to win. On the other hand, Lazio plays against Inter Milan, and it's not an easy game. Inter Milan, in theory, was almost giving up the idea of winning the Scudetto, but with the draw in Napoli, now there is only 1 point difference between the two. So the fight for Scudetto is still open. So again, Inter will try to beat Lazio, so it's not an easy one. Even Roma has a complicated one. AC Milan goes to Roma and plays against Roma, and again AC Milan has done amazingly well in the last few games. So Milan will try to get a European spot, and so it's not an easy game. If you look the last game, so Juventus in theory should win against Udinese and get 3 points. If you look at last game is Venezia-Juventus, and it all depends how Venezia ends the season. Venezia won yesterday, so they are above the relegation zone, but it all depends how they are and how far are from the relegation zone. If they are still fighting for relegation zone, would be a tough game, because teams that are relegated, they have more energy to fight against normal team. Second, every time you go and play Venezia, the trip is not a safe trip. I remember news is the management. What's happening from a manager point of view? Calvo, our commercial director, resigned and is moving to Aston Villa. First question is, did he resign or was pushed out, or was an agreement for him to leave? This means that if you consider Calvo wasn't able to bring any big commercial agreement, we don't have a sponsorship yet, we still have a fake sponsor, we don't receive any money, we don't have a big commercial agreement. So from that point of view, I don't know how much was able to move the needle for Juventus commercially. Second, if it wasn't for Elkam that was bringing Jeep back, Juventus wouldn't have had any other sponsor. He tried to sign up something with ITA, but didn't work out because the government was breaking it. He brought something else, but again, we don't really know what he brought. Nobody said anything. So from a commercial point of view, maybe Juventus has generated enough revenue that was expected, but the fact is moving to Aston Villa is a big question mark. The second thing this news shows two things. First, there will be a change in the management of Juventus. We will see a change of who will be in charge in Juventus next year. And what leads to the second point is Giuntoli. Giuntoli might be a risk of be sacked or be sidelined. There are a lot of comments about him being sacked despite he has 4 years left on his contract. But we think that his role would be smaller, would be sideline, and he will be in charge of the entire football area, but maybe he will become only a director of football by selling player, where the management of the rest of the football team, the different teams, etc., will be moved to someone else. That is interesting to see how the overall management will change, how the company structure will change. This is key to understand. This is the key of the unsuccess of Juventus this year, I believe, because when Thiago Motta had some issues, forgetting about Motta's personality and Motta way of working, there was no one who was stepping up or protecting him. No one was communicating to the press. No one was there telling him, that's it. Now you do what I'm telling you to do. Like Luciano Moggi was there. And when Moggi was in the Juventus, he was always say the right thing, tell people to say the right thing, etc. Linked to this management change, there are speculation about Elkam talking to Michel Platini to become the new president of Juventus. And it doesn't talk directly. There is Andrea Agnelli stepping to this conversation because Elkam doesn't have a direct relationship with Michel Platini. This is an interesting thought. First, because you can see that the direction Juventus is taking. Juventus needs someone that is very good to manage and communicate with the European bodies, to UEFA mainly, with FIFA in the future. So Michel Platini will guarantee that kind of conversation and the kind of role. And Michel Platini be a historical figures in Juventus and being the president of UEFA will bring a lot of gravitas in this to Juventus and the European in Europe. That said, the Platini seems a bit not 100% convinced because he never wanted a local role. He always liked an institutional broader role.